3, 2, 1.
Hi, my name is Jeremiah Edlin,
And my name's Kevin Anderson. Welcome to,
the Talking Stuff and Nonsense podcast.
that's right, the Talking Stuff and Nonsense podcast, where we don't have to worry about if we're on topic because it's just stuff and nonsense anyway. Right?
Yep.
Right. So, speaking of talking about stuff and nonsense, what is it that we're going to talk about today, Jeremiah?
Coffee.
Coffee. I love coffee.
One of my favorite things.
So, coffee. How do you like your coffee?
Mainly with creamer, but not with a buttload of creamer.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Maybe when I get older, I'll get to black coffee.
Really?
Mm.
You know how old I am, right?
59.
59, that's right. Jeremiah's 14.
Right.
I'm much older.
Yeah.
I don't drink black coffee. I don't know. So I don't know how people can stand it. You know why I drink coffee?
To help you keep awake.
For the taste? No.
I do for both reasons.
I drink it for the caffeine.
Right.
I'm diabetic, so I no longer drink bottles and bottles of Mountain Dew.
Yeah, zero sugar.
I do the zero sugar.
Every time I go in a house, there's no plain. There's always sugar, which I like. They're still pretty good, but it's also healthy for me,
Right.
so well, not really.
But I drink coffee for the caffeine, so not the flavor. So I dress mine up with cream and sugar, usually a flavored creamer. My favorite is the Italian sweet cream flavor.
That's the pastor's favorite.
Actually, that's not my favorite. It's not a lie, but it's a mistake.
It's like your second favorite.
My favorite is the Cold Stone ice cream creamer from International Delight.
That's a lot to say in the title of the creamer.
Yeah, but it's vanilla ice cream flavored. And I love it, but they never carry it at our local Walmart or at the local JC store, which is a Kroger affiliate.
I think my favorite creamer is either pumpkin spice latte or hazelnut.
Okay. I'm not a big fan of those flavors, but that's okay because it takes all kinds to make the world go around.
Yeah.
Right? So since I can't get the Cold Stone, then I get the Italian sweet cream by, I forget the brand.
Do you just order online?
No, I get it at the store. It's cold, you know.
What store?
Walmart. I can't get the Cold Stone, but I can get the Italian sweet cream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's what I get, and I don't. It's not like half and half creamer or nothing.
I hate half and half creamer.
Oh no! I mean like half coffee and half creamer.
Oh, okay.
Half and half creamer is okay, but it has to have enough sugar.
And for me, it has to have a lot of creamer.
Okay. So
well, not a lot for
Yeah.
If I have half and half, I will put like a lot of milk and then a lot of half and half.
Well, as my wife says, we like our coffee blonde.
I like mine
Like not just
dirty
brown, light, very light colored.
like tan.
Yeah, kind of.
Mine it's kind of like dirty blonde.
Okay. Now, I actually like it to be a rich caramel color, but it has to be sweet enough, and usually that means it's not as darkly colored as I like.
Right.
But that's okay. So anyway, that's enough about how much creamer and what flavors.
Yeah, but for like the sweetening thing you talk about, like I don't add that much of sugar to my coffee, either tea, because if I put too much sugar in tea, it's just terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I can't drink it, and so usually I don't like balance it out with tea. I balance it out with water.
Okay.
But then that's with coffee, but not with water with regular coffee because I have extra.
So, do you make coffee at home? Do you brew coffee at home?
Yes, but I don't have the kind of complex thing. I wish, but I don't have the money for it right now.
Does your mom not like coffee?
My mom does not drink coffee, which I was very surprised that she let me, like she got me a coffee brew or whatever, for Christmas. And I was very surprised because
You got a drip coffee maker for Christmas.
Yes.
But you don't have coffee to brew in it?
No, I do.
Oh, you do?
Yes, my favorite kind of coffee grounds is Blackstone. No,
Blackstone?
Black Rifle, Black Rifle,
Black Rifle.
Black
So
Rifle.
you order that online?
No,
Or do they sell it
they
where?
sell at Bass Pro, not Walmart.
At Bass Pro. Okay.
And
That's a
so
long way to go to get coffee.
not yesterday. Almost every Christmas, I used to go to Bass
Mm-hmm.
Pro and get Black Rifle because it's probably the only, I think it's the only place you can get it. I haven't looked at JC or Walmart yet.
I think you can get it online too.
Right.
My son likes that. And the cool thing about Black Rifle Coffee, and we're not advertising for them,
Right.
but the cool thing about them is they're veteran owned. Okay. And so, I mean, not that you're supporting all veterans because it's just the
Right.
one guy, but
Wouldn't hurt.
anyway, it's cool. It's veteran owned. So
Yeah.
a lot of people like that. My personal thing is I don't like really darkly roasted coffee. I like a nice medium roast, which I'll have an illustration for you in a little bit. But no, Starbucks, Black Rifle, they all roast their coffees too hard. I like a light to medium roast.
I've never had Starbucks.
Really?
No.
Never.
Wait, I did have once when I was at your house, but
Okay.
they didn't give me. I feel like they didn't give me actual coffee because I wanted like chocolate flavor.
Mm-hmm.
And what was it called? It wasn't coffee. I was very sleepy for the rest of the day.
Okay. Well, one of the things that they do is they tend to roast a lot darker, and people can make a mistake about that because they think because it tastes stronger, like more burned,
A lot of people get it
then
stronger.
they think that it means that it's a stronger coffee as far as like how much it will keep you awake, but that is not true. Because the harder you roast your coffee, the more you kind of destroy some of the caffeine molecules in the coffee.
Yeah.
So a lighter roast has more caffeine. If you're trying to stay awake, a dark roast is not your answer. Okay?
Maybe a cappuccino is.
Plus, to me, it tastes more burned, and you don't actually get the flavor of the bean.
Now, have I ever had dark roast at your house?
Not if I could help it.
Because at their house, they have like a gourmet coffee thing. So,
Yeah.
coffee bar, actually, yeah.
Yeah. So, and I kind of want to talk about that a little bit. So I prefer a light or medium roast. Now, if it's very light, then the flavor of the bean can be so strong, can actually be kind of fruity, believe it or not.
Actually, sorry to cut you off, but
Yep.
actually about the this like flavor or like the smell
Mm-hmm.
at Buff City Soap around like Walmart here, they have like coffee jars full of like actual coffee beans.
Yep.
And then every time I go there, I always just pick up and just smell it because I love the smell of coffee.
So my favorite thing is when I often open that thing of coffee and I smell, and it smells like chocolate. Okay, to me, that's the best. And during COVID, my wife and I were a little bit bored, right? We were all a little bit bored.
Every single person.
And we decided that we wanted to get better at coffee. We had been using a Keurig. You used a Keurig before, right? Super convenient, right? I mean, what's it take? 10 seconds to make a cup of coffee?
For camping too.
Right?
You can use it in camping too.
I mean, you fill the thing with water, you drop a pod in, you push a button, and you walk away, and then you got a cup of coffee left back when you come back. But there are things about a Keurig that aren't really great if you love coffee. Okay, you have to keep your Keurig clean because it keeps warm water, and that can breed disease. So you have to keep your Keurig clean.
Right.
Okay. And also, it's a place that sometimes bugs like to go. And I don't want to say any more about that. I don't want to gross anybody out, but we decided that a Keurig was not for us. I don't mean to tell you you're wrong if you got one. We just decided it was not for us.
Are you talking about like where you can take it apart and it has two sides? The first.
I'm just talking about a regular Keurig machine where you pop it open and you put your pot in and you shut
that
it.
one. Sorry,
Yeah.
I
Are
meant.
you talking about an espresso?
No. I was talking about this like there's this like Well, you guys should see it later. But for the online listeners, it's just two like top one.
You're talking about the mocha pot?
Yeah, the mocha pot. The mocha
Okay,
pot.
no. I'm talking about a Keurig coffee maker with the little pods. Okay?
Yeah.
And also, coffee snobs will tell you that that's not great coffee. But and I don't mean to be a coffee snob, but I might have turned into one because we started looking at like what makes good coffee, right?
Right.
So there are actually websites dedicated to the craft of making coffee.
I think there also are people that have like they're kind of like baristas
Mm-hmm.
and for like coffee, and he does it like his name is Ethan Road, and he actually has like an online list, which
Mhm.
that's what I'm going off of
Yeah,
for like my coffee bar. I can't have it yet because my mom won't let me, but
money.
yeah.
Yeah.
Also, plus the counter space, and I'm with the whole family, and he lives by himself, and I don't want people to touch my coffee.
Yeah, so he's one of many. There are many people who are coffee aficionados, baristas, whatever, that have YouTube channels and stuff, and you can look them all up.
Yeah.
At the time, we just went searching online, and we looked at a website called roasty.com and a couple of other spots, and it turns out, in their opinions, and now my opinion, if you buy ground coffee off the shelf at your local store, no matter how much it costs,
Are you dissing on my Black Rifle?
no matter how much it costs, that's not good coffee. And here's why. According to roasty.com and many others, if your roast is more than 2 weeks old, that's not good coffee.
Now that's the thing.
If it has a best used by date, that date is several months in advance of from whenever it was roasted. And that's not good coffee. If it has a roasted on date, you know when it was
Oh.
roasted, and it's less than 2 weeks old, that's good coffee. Probably, assuming the roaster knows what they're doing.
So, I hope you're not dissing on my Black Rifle, but it is Black Rifle is pretty expensive. It's like $15 a bag, and I was ordering it online, and I was ordering online because my brother gave me a $50 gift card
I'm
for
not
Christmas.
dissing on Black Rifle in particular.
Right.
I'm just saying if it doesn't have a roasted on date, then you don't know how old that coffee is.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So, this website said, why don't you find a local roaster where you can order what you want and then get it after it's roasted and know when it was roasted.
You mean
Okay.
like go to like what, like a
Well,
Dunkin' Donuts or something?
No, not Dunkin' Donuts, not Starbucks. Nope, because they have the same issue.
Ah, okay.
This stuff on the shelf at the store has been in the warehouse for 2 months before it came to the store.
Okay.
Okay, you don't know how long it's been out there.
Right.
It might have been in the warehouse at the roaster for a while or whatever. So we looked up some local roasters, and we found one online. Now we're in the Louisville area. We're in Kentuckiana, right? We're in Corydon, Indiana. It's 20 miles west of Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay, that's what I'm saying.
And we found a place called Good Folks Coffee in Louisville, and they are an award-winning coffee roaster. Not like massive awards, but they actually got a write-up in Men's Health or GQ, one of those magazines. And so we tried them. And you can get on Good Folks' website, and you can pick from a variety of coffees that they have sourced from wherever in South America or whatever. And then you can tell them how much of which origin coffee you want and how dark you want it roasted. 7 degrees from very light to very dark, like espresso dark. Okay. And we ordered from them a few different varieties. Like we ordered something from Kenya and something from Colombia and something from Indonesia.
Like,
you
what
know?
about like Africa? Because I think isn't
Yeah,
it Africa where it has
Kenya
like the
is in Africa, sir.
oh, okay, but like
Yeah.
kind of like they have like the most expensive coffee. Like where
No.
don't order that because that just
No, the most expensive coffees are Hawaiian Kona and Jamaican Blue Mountain are $30 a pound before they're roasted. Okay, so if you're hiring a roaster, you're paying more than that. Or there's
elephant.
there's a variety called cat poop coffee, and there's also one elephant dung, and they are super expensive. And that's kind of a gross idea, but basically the beans have been processed by the animal,
Yeah, like they make them eat the beans and then
and then they pick through the poo to
Yeah.
get the processed beans.
I don't know
Now,
why. you would do
that's
that.
because a coffee bean is actually the seed of a coffee cherry. Okay, there's a fleshy part around the outside of around the seed called a cherry, and they brush that off and wash and keep the beans.
Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna search up. Hey Siri,
Are you
what does a coffee bean look like or coffee cherry?
you got to know what you want.
Dang it! I'll just
We can talk about that in a little bit. But anyway, so trust me that there is a fleshy part that they take off, kind of like
like a
when
cherry?
you eat a cherry and
Okay.
you're left with a pit. Well, the coffee bean is actually the seed inside the coffee cherry.
Okay.
Okay.
Kind of like okay.
So,
Gotcha.
so anyway, in the case of the two we mentioned, the animal does the processing, but in most cases that isn't even close.
Hopefully.
They go ahead and dry them or use some kind of water process or something, and they strip them and then let the beans dry out. And they don't let them dry entirely. Okay, the green beans still have some moisture in them, but they're no longer surrounded by the husk or the shell of the bean. Okay, so anyway, good folks will roast them to what you want, and you can pick them up that day or the next day. And so that's really fresh coffee. Now, they're not the only ones. In our area, there's also a place on the Indiana side of the river called Starlight, which is also a terrific roaster. And Starlight also has, like Good Folks is just a roaster. They don't have a coffee bar or nothing. Starlight also has a series of coffee shops in the area. They have one location where they roast at, and then they distribute to their other locations, and you can buy the roasted coffee from them, or you can just go and get a cup of coffee from them.
Or you can make your own roast.
Or you can make your own roast. Yeah. I mean, like, if you don't want to get involved in roasting, but you want good coffee, you can buy from a local roaster and you can get a fresh roast.
I feel like would that be more expensive?
It's a little bit more expensive than roasting your own, but those guys are experts and they make really good coffee. And it can take a little while roasting your own to learn.
Or you could just become a barista first.
You could become a barista, but that is not a guarantee that you'll be a good roaster. Because a barista is the coffee server, not the coffee roaster.
Right.
Okay.
But also, you could try to
Because you know what?
YouTube videos fix everything.
My daughter was a barista, and she's a very good barista, but she's not a coffee roaster. Okay?
Well, there can be different kind of baristas,
Oh, yeah.
where they're in bar, serve alcohol.
Alcohol?
Yeah. It's like can't there be different kinds of baristas, like coffee baristas?
Barista usually refers to coffee, I believe.
Oh.
Okay, that would be bartender for alcohol, which you shouldn't know anything about at your age, so it's not surprising to me that you'd have it wrong. That's what happens when a kid. I'm sorry.
You're fine. Actually, I'm a teenager.
Yeah. So, anyways, there's a difference. A barista doesn't necessarily know about roasting. Okay, they might know what makes good coffee or what they like, but they don't necessarily know about roasting. So anyway, we started ordering coffee from Good Folks, and it's great. Oh my goodness, their coffee is good. And Starlight also great. And chances are there is a local roaster near you who does a great job.
Is it kind of like Gordon Ramsay just makes the coffee or
Go to what?
brews the coffee? Is it kind of like Gordon Ramsay but not the food, coffee?
I don't know what you mean by go to Ramsey.
Like, I mean, like Gordon Ramsay. Is it kind of like Gordon Ramsay, like texture?
I have. So, no,
I
it's
don't know.
just you go, you order from them. You either call them or you get on their website and you order what you want, and then you go pick it up.
I think you can do that in Starbucks too. My sister like won a prize and like she got a bag full of those actually like coffee beans.
Yes, but Starbucks is so big and their roaster is not in town. Okay, that's not fresh roast. They have a factory. That's different.
I just don't know
Okay.
anything.
No, these small local roasters, they're artisans. They're not factories.
Okay.
Okay, and they do a great job, and I encourage you to find a local roaster. Okay, but
For me, I
you
can't.
don't even have to do that. You
just
can
make
become your own roaster.
Right.
So, one of the things that Miss Jen and I like to do is we go ahead and buy green beans ourselves from we happen to use a company called Berman Coffee Company and Berman Coffee Roasters, I think it is, and they roast coffee, but they also source and sell green beans like what you see right here in the inset.
Now for the listeners, it's just kind of like a green bean, kind of like.
Oh,
I kept
I
on messing up the
I
name.
just zoomed that down small. I didn't mean to do that.
Kind of like pistachios. They look
They look like
pistachios.
pistachios, but they are not pistachios.
It's kinda like a boring
You would
knockoff.
not want to eat them green. Okay, they don't taste good green.
I
Okay.
would, but it probably wouldn't taste good.
So anyway, they Berman Coffee Company, Sweet Maria's from out in Oakland, California, etc. They all go to the source. They have agents who are in Colombia, Brazil, Peru, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, China, India, Siam. There's many countries in the world that are in what they call the coffee belt, which are tropical places.
Right.
Yeah.
I kind of was like, it's probably get late, and I want to maybe like gotta get quick.
Oh,
Cause,
now you're telling me we're running long, huh?
well, because we gotta get the.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they source coffee, and then you can buy it by the pound, by the half a pound, whatever. So we do that, and Jeremiah's right. We need to move on because we're starting to run.
We gotta do some other things too after this.
Okay. So anyway, I'll just go real quick. So you can roast your own coffee. So we buy that green beans, like we talked about, and we order them from different places in the world, and then we roast our own. And we started out, we had a little pan roaster like the one you see here. It has two arms in it that turn around and stir the coffee, and it applies heat in the pan, about 400, 450 degrees. And they start out green, they turn yellow as they lose moisture, and then they turn brown as they're getting roasted.
And for the online listeners, the pot kind of looks like a roast pot, like a cooking pot or whatever.
Yep. And that worked okay for us for a while, but then I decided I wanted something better, so I upgraded myself to this guy. And this is a hot air roaster. It blows 480-degree hot air through it, and it tumbles, and the beans get roasted really evenly, and then it has an automatic cooling function, and I just love it.
Which it looks like a vacuum cleaner.
But it's not.
Yeah.
But you can roast a half a pound of coffee at a time, and it's the best coffee I've ever roasted.
Now I've tasted their coffee. Been in their house a lot of times, and they do pretty good coffee. It tastes amazing.
Yeah.
Better than mine.
So anyway, that's what I like to do, and I got these out of order just a little bit, but just so you know, this is what roasted coffee looks like, where on the left is a very light roast, and in the middle is a medium roast, and in the right is an espresso roast.
Right, which it goes tan, and then kind of like a little bit black, and then
brown.
black.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm talking about these pictures, and maybe we have people on audio who can't even see what we're
Yeah,
doing.
that's why I kept on saying for the audio.
Okay.
Listeners.
Yeah. So the roaster that I have now, which is fairly expensive if you buy it new, I got used, broken, and repaired it, and it was still about almost $200. Yeah, but it's
Allergic to that.
awesome. It's great. It tumbles the beans. It blows hot air across them. It's a little bit like a popcorn popper, except they don't pop up. The air just goes across them, like in a smoker or something. And then and I love it. It's $650 new.
Mm-hmm.
So for $200, I got that was not bad.
Maybe you can give it to me.
You can drink some of my coffee. That's what you can do. And so then I roast beans about every 2 weeks, and then I grind them in a Baratza Encore grinder, which if you're on video, you can see here. And you can choose how fine or how coarse you want the grind. It depends on what kind of coffee.
Right, yeah. And then for the audio listeners, I would just use a blender, but
yeah. No.
That wouldn't work?
You want a precision grind size, because if some of the flakes are larger than others, you get an inconsistent flavor.
Okay.
So when I dial it all the way to the left, it makes a very fine grind, which is for espresso. If I turn it all the way to the right, it makes a very coarse grind, which is for cold brew or a percolator. And right in the center is for a drip coffee maker. Okay. So that's my Baratza grinder. And hang on.
Oh.
Don't leave me.
Sorry about that.
And so the different kinds of coffee, everybody's familiar with a drip coffee maker, which we have pictured if you're on the video. And it's supposed to brew at 200 degrees. It's supposed to sprinkle a little water first and let the coffee bloom, and then actually brew the pot.
Right.
And that's pretty simple.
But
some people like a French press. I'm sorry.
Well, sometimes the dripper, whatever thing, I usually use two. I'm gonna say, but 2 filters instead of just one, because I've had a lot of problems with a lot of situations where the grinds actually go through it.
Okay, what's happening there is that the water is not going through the coffee; it's filling up too fast and going over the edge.
So you mean
because the grinds float? Maybe too much coffee in your filter. Maybe your thing is putting out water too fast and it's not dripping fast enough. Okay. But your grinds are actually going over the top of your filter, and that's why you're getting grinds in your coffee.
So I'm just spending more money than I need to for the filters?
Maybe. But there are other ways. Like right now, I'm displaying a French press. A French press is where you boil hot water, you put some ground coffee in the bottom of this glass carafe, you pour in hot water over it, stir it, put the lid on with this press.
Kind of like one of those pencil things where you pop up pencils.
A little bit, but the press is used to push the coffee down when the brewing is done.
Right.
And it's a filter screen. Okay, so the screen is up while the coffee is steeping like tea. Okay, and then after like 10 minutes, you press the grinds down, and then you just have coffee above that because the press is a filter.
You know what I just realized?
Mm-hmm.
This, like the fresh, what was it called again?
French press.
The French press. I feel like it's on like the Grinch, the Christmas movie, because when the dog goes up, does all that like mechanical make the coffee for the Grinch. He goes on that thing. I think that's probably like what it is.
It might be. A French press is a really simple way to make coffee. Also, there's such a thing as a pour over, which is kind of like a drip coffee maker, but you do it manually.
Yeah.
Right. But I've never done a pour over.
Sorry, that's my alarm.
So, anyways, the other things that we do at our house are we use a cold brew coffee maker, and if you're on the video podcast, it's pictured here, and all this is a pitcher, and it has a filter section in the center of it, and you pour coarsely ground coffee into the filter section in the center, and then you pour cold water in slowly, or you just fill the thing with cold water, put your grind filter down in it, and then you swirl it a little bit, but not much, and you put it in the fridge for 24 hours minimum.
And then you got cold brew for the week.
Yes. And my wife prefers cold brew coffee, and I gotta say, it's very smooth. It's much smoother than a hot brew.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? And at the rate she consumes, we make about a pitcher a week. So it's not a big deal to do that. It's a fun way to make coffee. But my favorite way to make coffee is pictured here now, and it's called a mocha pot.
Now you can use this for camping.
You can, because you can cook on a stove with a mocha pot.
Well, the thing that, yeah, you can also do that. Mm-hmm. But also, this is my first experience of this was when I went camping with my uncle, and he's also a big coffee freak. Well, not with the bar, but yeah.
Sure.
And then he actually has this, and then while we're camping, he actually used it on the fire, and he actually gave me some.
Sure. So the way a mocha pot works, though, it's a little bit like working a kind of a chemistry experiment while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because if you're looking at the picture here, it has two sections. It has a bottom section, which is a pressure chamber, and it has a top section, which is a serving pot. And in between the two, there's a thing that looks kind of like a funnel, and it has a screen on the bottom of the funnel. And there's a screen in the bottom of the serving section, and there are rubber gaskets in between so that they seal.
Okay.
And you put the coffee in this filter and this funnel-looking thing, and you pour hot water, or you pour water in the pressure chamber, put the filter in, screw on the serving chamber, and then you wait for that water to boil. When the water boils, it makes steam in the pressure chamber. When the steam has built up enough pressure, it starts to push hot water up against gravity through the funnel, and it goes up through the serving chamber, and there's like this tall, skinny little volcano in the serving chamber, and it starts pouring out like lava.
You're very excited.
Can you tell?
Yeah.
I love this.
If you're an audio listener, he's very enthusiastic. I can't say that.
I love it. So most days I make this coffee, and it comes out, it's very strong. It comes out like mud. I'm not kidding. It's flowing like lava. It's not.
Oh, that's cool.
It's not pouring. It's not squirting. It's flowing over the cone like lava. It's very strong.
I realize what you're talking about. Okay, never mind.
Very strong. And it actually is called a stovetop espresso maker. It doesn't really make espresso because espresso is made under a lot of pressure.
Oh, yeah.
And it has a crema on top, espresso does. When the coffee first starts coming out in the mocha pot, it looks like it's going to have a crema, but it doesn't last. There's not enough pressure.
Right.
Okay. But it is espresso strength. So when you make this, it only makes 6 ounces. And at first I was like, why can't it make more coffee? I mean, that's not enough for 1 cup, right? 6 ounces?
Really?
Well, 6 ounces, when a shot of espresso is 2 ounces,
oh, okay,
is basically like 3 espresso shots.
That's tiny.
That's a lot of caffeine.
Well, that's a lot of caffeine, but not like.
Right. But so anyway, so that makes like a half a mug of coffee.
Not even a mug?
And then I pour in creamer, almost 1-to-1 for the coffee because it's so strong. And it makes like a caffeinated hot chocolate.
I wouldn't be able to have that much caffeine. I would go off the walls.
It's so good. And that's my favorite. That's my favorite way to have coffee. So we roast our own. Jen gets cold brew. On the weekends, I make a drip coffee, and I make a really large cup that I can take around with me on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
But during the week, I have that 6 ounces of mocha pot, which is like this massive shot of caffeine first thing in the morning. And I'm ready to go to work.
I'd rather just to have a regular mug. Of course, I would have all the fancy stuff, just not that much caffeine.
You have to try some of this. If
We
I've
have.
never
I
had.
have.
Okay, so and you
Twice.
didn't like it?
I loved it.
Okay, well,
It's just
it's kind of awesome.
I need to lower down the caffeine.
No, you just become a caffeine burnout like me, and then it doesn't matter. You can drink caffeine all day and all night.
And like, can't you like a sugar crash? Can't you get like a coffee crash, like a caffeine crash?
Yeah, I suppose so.
You never have any of those?
When I'm tired, I'm tired. I don't know.
I don't know if
I don't know that it has anything to do with caffeine or not. Anyway, that's the way we like our coffee.
Yeah.
And
I'm just simple. Soon, I would not be. I
yeah.
just need to get money.
So I'd say, so the equipment that we use regularly, first of all, a mocha pot is very inexpensive.
Right.
As is a French press, as is a cold brew coffee maker. They're all very cheap. You can get a good one for $25. Actually, you can get a good, a decent French press or a decent cold brew for probably $12 or $15 down at Walmart. It doesn't have to be fancy. If you're spending more money, it's because you like something fancier.
Right.
Not because you need something fancier.
Right. For me, if I would buy this, I would mainly just use it for camping, because
I use it almost every day.
Yeah. And that's you.
Now, my drip coffee maker, the one that just died on us today.
This one?
No.
The drip, like
our drip coffee
Oh,
maker,
yeah.
that Ninja coffee bar, was $200. No, it was regular $200. We got it for $120 at Target.
When I looked at it, it looks like it stained the bottom of the counter. Or is that just the regular counter thing?
I
it looks like coffee flavor.
No, there's probably a little bit of stain on it. That's okay.
Yeah.
We'll live.
It looks good though. I like coffee shoes.
But coffee shoes?
Yeah, it's just where this like cook gets like some Nike Air Nikes and dips them in coffee.
Really?
And it has a cool like a little brown tint.
I've never even heard of this. Wow. Okay.
And then some other people did it with strawberries, and then it has a good like color.
Okay.
Search it up when you.
That would never occur to me. Okay. Well, it takes all kinds to make the world go round, right, Jeremiah?
Yep.
So yeah, that's the way we like our coffee. I go to the bother of roasting my own, but I was going to say, so totaled up, like when we buy a replacement coffee maker, we're probably going to spend somewhere between $50 and $100. Because I want one that brews it correctly, that does the little thing with it spritzing, and that it does at 200 degrees, and that we can make varying amounts of coffee. But I won't spend $120, $150 now. So probably $50 is where we'll settle.
Actually, I might, because I'm stupid. I don't
the
really care about
grinder
price.
mattered to me. It needed to be a precise grinder, because the grind size, if it's like those propeller grinders that kind of chop the beans up, they're not consistent, and you don't get good flavor if you don't have the right size grind for the kind of coffee you're making. Like the mocha pot takes an espresso grind, which is very fine, And anyway, so and you can do it with coarser grind, but it isn't as good. So anyways, the grinder matters, and we spent $120 on that Baratza grinder. Actually, I think it was $130.
Right.
You can spend less, but that's a burr grinder, and a burr grinder is kind of like a salt or pepper mill. If you have those hand crank pepper mills,
then
those have
guy I told you about
burrs.
later has one of those.
You can set the tension on those for how fine you want it.
And then they also have different drill bits, and it's just.
Yes.
I think I've seen videos of people on Starbucks having those, but also the barista coffee guy I've told you about, he also has one of those, but he mainly uses that one. But I showed you the nice ones that he had, right? How long ago I did?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And some people like to use those hand cranks, and they really get back to basics on those things. And I'm not now. Mine is electric. I set the grind size I want. I flip the thing on. I walk away for a few seconds while I'm getting stuff around, and then I come back, and I've got the amount of coffee I want.
So that's basically it. And that's how we're kind of like coffee nerds, but you're the main coffee nerd. I want to be a coffee nerd. But
I'm nerdier than most. I wouldn't say I'm the nerdiest. Oh, my goodness. There are people who are There's a guy on YouTube named James Hoffman. We learned a ton from that guy. Yeah, but he's English, and so he has a charming accent, plus he's a coffee expert. We've watched a bunch of his stuff. Anyway, so that's. Are we getting ready to be done? Is that
Yeah.
what we're doing?
Yep.
Okay.
Because we got
So-
other things to do for the online. I mean,
That's true. We
Let's
do
see.
have to get this thing posted, and we want to. We actually want to start doing Spotify podcasts. So far, we've posted on YouTube, but I guess tonight before we go, we got to get.
because we just got our
Spotify
logo
posted.
done. So
Yeah. So that's why.
yeah,
Because we just. How about because you want to be on audio?
that too.
Okay.
But the main reason we couldn't do it on this because we didn't have a logo.
Oh well.
But now we
I
do.
think we could have figured something out.
But
Well,
for
anyway.
YouTube, we just have us.
So we have a preliminary logo. You probably saw it at the beginning of the podcast, and you'll see it again here in a moment. This is by no means the end, but if you care and you want to drop us a line about it, just do something in the chat on the YouTube channel.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, I guess that's it. I guess, as some people would say, we've beat that topic to death, and it's time to move on, right?
All right. Yep.
Okay. So stay caffeinated, and we'll see you later.